Welcome to the Voice of Business podcast. We're here again at this beautiful location at Bennett's Furniture and Mattresses, and big thanks to Odigski Media for producing this. And my guest today, Devon Girard, you're the Executive Director at Community Futures Peterborough.
Yes.
For those not as familiar with what you do, tell us a little bit about Community Futures.
Yeah. We've been around for almost 40 years now in the community. We are a federally funded program, one of about 260 across the country. So the federal government in the mid-'80s set up the Community Futures program with seed dollars. So in Peterborough, we received just over $1 million with a goal and a mandate to lend money to entrepreneurs who traditionally couldn't qualify for financing from a bank. So a lot of startups, a lot of higher risks businesses, the federal government wanted to provide them with an opportunity to start to grow a business.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say we've now grown that over $14 million in investment. Yeah, so that's all loans that are in the community. We've helped, hundreds, thousands actually, of businesses over the years. So that is our primary core service, is the lending.
Yeah.
But I know you're aware, we also recently had a really exciting announcement at Community Futures Peterborough, where we are now assuming operations of the Business Advisory Centre.
Yeah.
So that is a provincially funded program through the province of Ontario, the SBECs, the Small Business Enterprise Centres. So what's really exciting for our organization, and I think for entrepreneurs, is they'll be able to come through one door to receive business planning, to receive support, to help them get their business plans launched, and then they'll be able to apply for a loan as well through that same office. So it's an exciting time. We've got a new advisory team hired to help with delivering those services. So business planning, and then just support for entrepreneurs as they're looking to grow and expand in our region.
Yeah, no, happy to see that. We've been working with the business advisory previously for a long time, right? And it's great, just the different services that are available in Peterborough that all complement each other, right? It's not quite what the Chamber does, it's not what Community Futures did before, but it all just fits together, and it's nice to have all these supports between our different organizations and a couple others in the community that can be there to support entrepreneurs.
Well, I know we've worked closely together, which has been really exciting for, I think, the business community and the entrepreneurial community to see, how all of us are working together in that areas of, I like to say, start, with the Business Advisory Centre, get your business plans done, come to Community Futures for the funding, and then, of course, in partnership with you, any client of Community Futures or the Business Advisory Centre is eligible for that free chamber membership.
Yep.
We're a big believer that that's where businesses can really help grow and expand, is sort of leveraging the network of the chamber for, mentorship, the workshops, the, advocacy that you do. So it's something I think we should all be really proud of, is those collective efforts to ensure entrepreneurs are entering a seamless system of support and know how their team is working together for them.
Yeah, well, and I think together we help set businesses up for the long term, right? A lot of those ones that are coming through and doing all of these programs between our different agencies, right? They're the ones that you definitely see a lot more long-term successful results from. So
absolutely.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about finances. It's been quite a crazy last few years, right? we had lockdowns, which there was a lot of debt added. We've had crazy inflation. Interest rates, which thankfully now are starting to come down a little bit, but it's been a huge factor. What's your read from the business community? You see the finances, you deal with them with their needs. Are they still struggling to service those debts that they're holding on to? Are they looking to expand and invest, or how is it going?
I mean, I want to always preface this question to say, we're empathetic to those who are struggling. I never want to undermine. There are businesses who are facing pressures, and it's real and it's challenging for them. And one of the reasons a lot of people do work with Community Futures from that lending side is the flexibility. So, if they were to call us and say, I'm having a tough go. Can we adjust my payments? Can we do this? It's so simple for us and for me to have that approval to do so, rather than those formalized processes that are sometimes required through stricter bank restrictions. But overall, it's kind of mind-blowing how resilient our community has been. This past fiscal year for us, the government fiscal year, we still put out almost $1.5 million in 25 different loans. We had approached the year with a level of cautiousness, thinking it might be a lot of micro loans or people needing cash flow loans, and we really didn't see that. We continue to be cautious of what is ahead. But I actually think it's just been a really encouraging time to see continued investment.
Yeah.
This isn't just businesses starting or expanding. Like, we're sitting close to a 50-50 split, which is also really encouraging for all of us. So, of course, there are businesses facing pressures. I hope they know we're here to support them as you're here to support them, in as many ways as possible. But I do think there is a great story of resiliency and those still looking to want to start and grow in Peterborough. And that is exciting for all of us. And hopefully as these rates drop, we are turning a corner.
Yeah. No, I have so much respect for businesses that when times are tough, they figure out, what can we do to expand our product lines and keep reinvesting in themselves? I know the temptation is there, and very understandably to hunker down a little bit and weather through these things, but it just seems like there's one thing after another, right? And so those who continue to invest in their businesses certainly see a lot of payback from that. And with that, we have had that recent drop in interest rates. It's not quite where I think people would like it, but it's the trend that should take us there. How do you see that playing out as far as, is there a certain point where businesses will be a bit more able to reinvest? Because it's still very expensive to borrow.
It is, and I think we're all looking forward to seeing, what is ahead with that drop in interest rates. We all hope so, but I do think, we're also trying to stay focused on the positivity and the momentum that we have had, which was arguably during a tough time. So, I look at where, we've just approached our first quarter, and in approved loans, we're already close to $1 million.
Wow.
That did happen as well, sort of, last spring. So we know there's always the spring chickens, who like to get excited and get plans in place, and summer is traditionally slower. But, again, all indicators are just showing for us that we're doing pretty good. Yeah. And that's great. That's something to celebrate. Our boundaries are the city and the county of Peterborough. So I do think it's a wholesome approach, of our community and of our region. And we're certainly seeing, just this past month, we approved a couple of pretty significant loans for, business successions and transitions out in the county. So it is exciting times. And I do think we are seeing that younger generation want to invest, want to, either succeed or to start and to grow. And we just continue to hope they know all of us who are here to support them along their journey.
Yeah. And there's been a number of recent announcements from Community Futures around funding for projects that are sustainable, green economy type work. Is this something that's a focus of Community Futures, or is this something that's being led by the entrepreneurs in our community?
Or by my daughter. Just kidding.
Fair enough.
But no, I say that kind of jokingly, but you have young children too, and I think our minds are blown, and I'm grateful to be able to be in a position to listen to this younger generation who is continually talking about the environment and climate change and, what are we doing? And of course, we are funded, our Community Futures program is funded by the federal government, which also has a pretty aggressive, clean and green agenda, and we're happy to try and support that as well. One of the things I've tried to approach in my role at Community Futures is, where can we move the dial? And the reality is we have a contribution agreement with the federal government that does set out what our funding parameters are and can be. We do have, a limited amount, but we do have some flexibility in how we can approach, areas of interest that we do believe, could be beneficial to all of us. So we're really excited to announce our climate and environmental fund on this past Earth Day, which allows businesses in the community who want to invest in initiatives that would reduce greenhouse gases or show reduction in climate emissions and carbon emissions to lend at prime. And that's the lowest we are allowed to lend, sort of proving these exceptional circumstances, which really are the times that we're in around climate and green. So do I think it's a trend? No. I viewed it as an opportunity to say this is where we can show some leadership and try and make a difference, and hopefully some investment into areas that will better all of us, our community, and our younger generation, who is very vocal about wanting to ensure, we are collectively all doing what we can. So
yeah, well, and speaking of the younger generation, so you deal with a lot of startups, which tend to be younger people.
Yeah.
And I know myself, just over the last year, I did a fair bit of involvement with some students out of Trent, and I just found they gave me a lot more energy and excitement, right? They haven't been jaded by the workforce for decades. And so I'm curious, what do you see? What's coming out of the next generation of entrepreneurs?
I think they're pushing us to think a lot differently, right? They are looking for value alignments. They are socially aware. They are consciously aware. You look at even, I'm sure your financial planner and all of our financial planners are talking to us about, social fund investments, and where, this younger generation is growing up. I like to think it's because it's, so much access to information. I always tell my kids, I'm like, you're smarter than I was. you know a lot more than I did at your age. And when I look at the students at Trent and at Fleming, a lot of their business ideas are solving problems.
Yeah.
They will identify a problem, and they're not waiting to see how someone else is solving it. They have access to support services, and they have access to, different information tools and technology that we didn't have. And so they're coming up with these ideas, and it's exciting, it's invigorating. We love, the work we all get to do with students, because it is different than, how we were raised, for sure.
For sure, yeah, great. Now, just you're not strictly a finance person in all of your background. You've worked public sector, private sector, nonprofit, and generally with agencies that are community building in some shape or form. What is it that you'd like to see out of your time here at Community Futures?
One of the reasons I was really excited and passionate about this job is you actually have the ability to create change.
Yeah.
And I think it's exciting to take that opportunity to really pay attention and listen to the needs of our business community and create these programs. So, I look at our community advancement program, which I was really excited to announce this past January, through some tough auditing of operating dollars and how we spend our money. I was able to reinvest $50,000 into grants, so into those non-repayable loans, into various not-for-profits across the community, and that's something we hope to do annually. We've launched exciting programs, such as our Climate and Environmental Fund, or Climate Change and Environmental Fund, rather, Scale Up, where businesses have said to us, the entrepreneurial community is really good at starting, up. So you've got lots of support around business advisory, and help you start your plan, and, these check-ins to get you funded. And then what? So 2 and 3 years out, where is that same ecosystem of support? So, we heard that from the community and created this program designed to help them, grow and scale and provide them with both classroom sessions and then those individualized coaching sessions as well from local experts. So I hope that that's part of the legacy our team is able to leave, is that I might not be doing the same thing in 5 years because the community might be telling us it's something different.
Yeah.
And how exciting to be able to lead an organization that has that ability to change with, a great board of directors and lots of great strategic partners to, keep coming up with these ideas, responding to what it is our community is telling us.
Yeah. No, it's exciting, I'm sure. Well, Devon, thanks so much for joining me this morning, and really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.